Welcome to How to Leave Teaching, the podcast for educators feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or just yearning for something more. I'm Julie, once in your shoes, navigating those same challenges and emotions. Here, we share heartfelt stories and tactical advice from former teachers who found their way out, ensuring you're not alone on this journey. I am so glad you found us. Hey guys, welcome back. I'm your host, Julie, and we're diving deep into a topic this week that's very close to my heart and maybe not on your mind yet, and that is how you can leverage your current teaching role for your next career move. I often talk to teachers that want to leave, who've been on the job market. They're coming to me because they're not seeing any traction on the job market and they're wondering what they can be doing better in terms of how to represent themselves and their skill set and the experience they bring. And what I hear time after time is I just don't have anything else to list here. The skills, the experience that I have is the typical teacher skill set. And I don't have experience in budgeting or social media or a whole other array of skills that employers are looking for outside of education. And what I want to tell you and what I tell folks that I work with is you can be building skills right now in your teaching role that you could use to get a job in data science or project management or customer success. You will have to be strategic about it, but that's what we're going to talk about in this episode. So stay tuned. When you think about compensation, when we're talking about jobs, what comes to mind? Probably your paycheck, maybe your benefits, maybe even work-life balance. But I want to challenge you to think about the skills that you gain on a job as part of your overall compensation package. And the reason that this is compensation in my eyes is that the skills that you bring are monetizable. Think about it. That's what you're doing as you navigate the job market. You are listing the skills and experience that you have so that an employer buys your services. So if you are thinking about the acquisition of your next job as an endeavor where you come in with all the skills that employer is looking for, you are hitting the ground running on day one, and you are going to be an expert. Everything will be effortless. You'll be in the flow at work. And while those are good things, in reality, you are going to want to be learning new things. You're going to be wanting to be challenged, because if you're not being challenged, you're not growing and learning new skills. You want to be having diverse experiences on the job, and you want to be accomplishing a lot of diverse types of things, because those are all things that you can leverage later on as you're writing a resume to get your next job. But what about if you are in a role now? What if you're teaching and you have your eye on a couple different jobs that you'd like to apply for in the future, but there are some skills gaps there? How can you build the skills that you need to be a successful applicant for those types of jobs while you're in the classroom? You might be thinking, how am I supposed to do that? How is this possible? I'm teaching. That's what I do. That's all I have time for. I don't even have a planning period. How the hell am I going to be building skills that are going to pertain to project management or machine learning or marketing or whatever type of role that you're looking for? Well, here's how it's done. What you want to do is, first of all, recognize the value of your current role. Think about all of the skill set think about all the skills that you already have from teaching. Those could be things like communication, time management, problem solving. And you really want to think about what gaps exist from that point. So, as teachers, we talk about backwards design. Start with the end in mind. Look for job postings for roles that you're interested in. Use those as a roadmap. What skills or experiences are listed there that you didn't list in your brainstorm of the skills that you've already got? What are you missing? Those are the things that you are going to target in this skill building exercise going forward. So I can give you just a quick example just to kind of prime the pump here. When I was teaching, I wanted to leave and become an academic. I wanted to become a teacher of teachers, and I wanted to write and conduct research. But I was just a high school teacher, quote unquote. I didn't have the skill set of a professor or someone that would be at that level, right? So what I did was I started to conduct research. And you probably know about action research if you're a teacher. And so I conducted research with my students. Of course, you have to get the releases and cover your ass to be able to do this type of thing, of course. I don't want to be reckless, but that's something that you can do. That's what I did. And then I wrote articles about the research that I conducted with my students. And I would workshop my writing, the articles that I was writing with my students, because I was teaching writing and I wanted them to see their teacher actually doing the work of a writer. So that was a way that I was able to kind of weave all of that stuff together. I knew too that professors presented at research conferences. So I looked at the American Educational Research Association conference and thought, okay, can I present at this? And they actually have a teacher action research network, I think it's called. And so I submitted a proposal to present at that conference and got on the roster for that. And I wasn't at that level. I probably wouldn't have gotten in to make a presentation at that conference had they not had this kind of teacher section where they, carved out the space just for teachers. But there are all kinds of opportunities like that. So you see, these are some ways that you can leverage your time in the classroom in ways that you can use going forward. And in addition to looking at job postings for roles that you're interested in, to start with the end in mind, something I've done for years now is to go to LinkedIn and look at people that are doing those roles already, folks that have the jobs that I'm really interested in. And I look at what they've done. What education do they have? What are they listing for their prior job experience? And you can really look at that as kind of a roadmap. Well, this is how they did it. Maybe that's an approach for me. If you're here, you've probably been feeling it for a while now, that pull to leave teaching. But with that comes the anxiety of the unknown, the fear that you're actually trapped, and of course that daunting question, what's next? Well, enter our new 90-minute holistic strategy session. This is tailored just for you. It's aimed at helping you uncover careers that resonate, to craft your resume draft, and it's okay if you don't have anything yet and you're starting from scratch, and we'll unlock the secrets to landing your next job with clarity and with confidence. Let's get you out of this cycle of uncertainty and pain and carve out your new path together. Book your transformative session today over at whatsnextteacher.com. So, how does this apply to other professions that you may be wanting to transition into? Let's say that you want to go into ed tech. You could implement a new tech tool or some kind of software in the classroom or some practice that is centered around ed tech and document the challenges and successes that you have. Collaborate with parents and other staff members, demonstrate some leadership around the use of that tool. What you would really want to do is go and look at the role in ed tech that you are targeting and look at the kind of skills that they're looking for and do something with that tech that you could speak to in an interview because it reflects those skills that they're looking for. Let's say you want to go into event management or coordination. You could be organizing school events. You could be organizing virtual meetups. And this can translate into skills for roles in event planning, community engagement. So you're seeing how this works. Budgeting and finance. Maybe you take on responsibilities related to school funding or grant writing or even a class budget project. This could be your entryway into finance or administrative roles. For marketing and PR, maybe you want to chronicle your classroom success stories. Maybe you start a classroom blog or you handle your school's social media for a short time. Showcase achievements. Turn it into a PR or a marketing portfolio. These are ways to build those skills that you can speak to in your resume and in the interview. Let's look at another one. Project management. You can undertake a long-term project with students or at the school, whether it's a school garden or a virtual exchange, maybe with an overseas school. These kind of projects require planning, execution, and management, and these are all transferable skills. So you really want to start thinking about the ways that the skills that you are building now, this year, as you're teaching, can be leveraged going forward. And you really need to start thinking about the art of translation. And I know this is hard. This is probably the number one thing that I hear, which is why I made the resume templates for you guys that translate teacher skills, because this is really difficult to conceive of. I think once you've built these experiences, how do you actually translate them onto your resume in a way that's not just education centric? So, this starts with language. Use industry specific terminology rather than education sector terminology or education jargon. So, when you're looking at these job postings for an open role that you'd like to apply to, something that sounds interesting, you really need to go through the job posting and understand the meaning of every word. I know sometimes there is industry specific jargon that we have no idea what it means. You really want to get a sense of what it means and understand that, because that's what's going to help you to accomplish that translation. So, just a few practical tips there. Make sure that you're quantifying all of the achievements. Collect as much data as you can right now. I can't stress that enough, because you're not going to be able to go back and do it. Use action verbs and tailor the experiences that you are writing about based on the job description. So you're going back and you're really looking at the skills and experiences that you've gained in this exercise in the context of that particular job. How would it translate? How would you be able to talk about what you've done in a way that an employer that doesn't know anything about schools, doesn't understand how things work there, doesn't, frankly care, because we're trying to overcome the limitations the structural limitations of the education sector, because the way that things are organized, we as teachers don't get a lot of diverse experience. And we are pigeonholed oftentimes on the job market. And so, you really want to think about the flexibility that what you're doing now really has for how you can represent it going forward, and think about filling those gaps. So I really would encourage you to see this year as not just another year in the classroom that you have to endure and get through, racing toward those holidays, those weekends, but as a foundational step toward your next career. There's potential in every teaching day. And I think this is going to help you get through it too if you are just miserable. I know my last year, I was really struggling to get through every day. And I think if I would have really focused more on the potential of every day to help me build skills for that next job, every challenge that you face and every project that you complete, is a potential line on your resume at that point, and it feels productive. It doesn't feel like you're being weighed down. It's such a much more positive way to look at this last year, what's hopefully your last year in the classroom. Everything that you're doing now can become a talking point in an interview. It can become a stepping stone to a new career. So, this is my call to action for you. I want you to pick one new skill or some kind of project to work on in the upcoming month that you'll be able to leverage going forward. What is something that you see as a gap in your experience and your skill set that you can tackle now? And you may have to break something down, if it's a skill that is kind of this big, bold skill, maybe you want to break it down into its parts and be able to do some facet of that activity to gain that experience, to gain those skills. So please don't be discouraged. Think creatively, think flexibly. You may not know it now, but this is what job seekers are doing out there on the job market. They're thinking really flexibly about their portfolio, their experience, their skill set, and how they can portray what they come with in a way that appeals to a hiring manager, so that that hiring manager thinks this is the person that's going to solve my problems. You don't want to go in there and say, hey, I'm a teacher for you to repurpose, right? You have to be proactive about this. You have to really do that kind of backwards design from where you want to go. What is that job role that you want next year? You really want to think backwards from there and start to use that as your roadmap to that career. So let me address a couple of concerns. You may feel like, isn't that unethical? Shouldn't I just be teaching and not getting anything from it? No, you're getting a paycheck. You're getting skills and experience already. There's absolutely nothing wrong with wanting to build and expand upon your skill set. And the only way to do that is typically at work. So I say go for it. There's nothing unethical about it. And in the broader working world, people think this way all the time. I constantly ask to be put on new projects when things of interest pop up, or even things that scare me, because I want to have the broadest skill set that I can put together. I want to have that because that gives me more freedom in the world. I can move around. I can do more if I have that broad skill set. You may also think, okay, there's just nothing that I can do in my classroom right now that's going to be relevant to the kinds of jobs that I want. Well, I don't think that's probably true. I would say there to talk to other people about that impression that you have and get their feedback. It's always great to be able to bounce off of someone else who can sort of see the blind spots, the things that you're not seeing. But if that's truly where you are, I want to remind you that you can list on your resume things that are paid or unpaid. You can list things that come from volunteer work. Did you know that? You can list things that you do as a freelancer. So maybe it's a matter of offering your services to someone you know with a small business, or taking on some sort of contract job, or doing volunteer work. I know, for example, just about every city has a Toastmasters club, or you can be a part of a Toastmasters club virtually. And in that club, there are different roles that you can take on. Like there's a vice president of PR, and that person does all the PR for the club. So you can get a ton of skills in marketing and PR just from doing that volunteer work. They also have a vice president of membership. So if you want to be like a membership coordinator or manager or something in HR or something like that, that you can build skills there that you could speak to in your resume or in an interview. So, think really flexibly, be nimble. That's what's going to really benefit you. I think the reason that a lot of teachers feel stuck is that they're not thinking this way. They're really thinking about their resume as this static document that really lists very literally what they did. I taught 10 sections of American literature to over 120 students, and they got a 75% pass rate or something like that. Okay, great. But that's not really relevant if you're looking at a job that doesn't involve teaching American literature. So, you really want to be thinking about how to represent your skills in a way that's going to appeal outside of the classroom. So where can you build these types of skills that will take you places? So, just to reiterate, your current job, while it might be soul sucking, is a gold mine of opportunities. It really, really is. You got to sit down and build out that roadmap for yourself. Do that skills brainstorm. Look at what you've done, what you can speak to now, and identify those gaps. Create a list for yourself of the skills that you want to build, things that you want to be able to say you can do with confidence and that you can back up, and figure out where in your life can you fit in, where in your teaching day can you fit in opportunities to build those skills. Every single teacher has the potential to pivot into a new career. I promise you that. If you have the right tools, the right mindset, and some determination, you can do it. Thanks for tuning in to How to Leave Teaching. It's a complex transition, but you're not in it alone. Dive deeper and find more resources on our website. Keep pushing forward, and we'll be right here with you in the next episode. Want to know how you know if your resume is working for you or not? It's whether or not you're getting interviews. And if you're not getting interviews, it's not because you've been teaching. It's how you're writing about your teaching skills and experience in that resume. And I get it. Translating your teacher skills for a variety of different industries and job roles that you've never done before, that's daunting. That's where What's Next Teacher comes in. Our pre-populated resume templates bridge that gap. No more staring at a blank page, wondering how to start. Whether you're aiming for roles like instructional designer, corporate trainer, college admissions officer, project manager, and even fields as diverse as machine learning engineer, what I did was put together 30 of the top industries that teachers are transitioning into and translated your skills for each one of them. All you have to do is download, edit, and put in your own information, tweak it. You will understand how to translate your teacher skills once you take a look at these resume templates. And if you want a bundle, we've got bundles too, so you can get 5 at once. Go to whatsnextteacher.com/shop to check out these resume templates. And I really hope that they take the daunting feeling out of resume writing for you.